Shannon, how do you explain this?
Well, if I have to list it in order, Skip, I thought the bench, they got outplayed. They got outscored by 26. Defense, you give up a team that's a jump shooting team. You give up 38 points in the fourth quarter and then free throw. Skip, I asked you this last year, and I asked you this in the preseason. What happened to AD in free throws? You remember his first year there? They would give the ball to AD. AD would close the game at the free throw line.
He would.
AD was 2 of 7 last night.
And don't let your guy off the hook.
No, Skip. But I never thought LeBron was this great free throw shooter.
Okay.
He's been basically about an average free throw shooter with the exception of maybe 1 year. I think he shot 80%. But for the most part, he's been a 70, low 70s. In the last couple of years, he's been in the 60s.
3 of the last 4 below 70. And he was 3 of 6 last night.
I knew we were in trouble, Skip, in the fourth quarter. When Avery Bradley, they just signed him a day or two ago.
They did.
And he's in the closing lineup. That lets you know that he's searching for something on the defensive end that he can't get from anyone else. Frank Vogel and his rotations. Why would you ever play Russell Westbrook and Rajon Rondo together, Skip? They were on the court for 7 minutes. They were minus 15. And then, you know what he said? Well, I'm going to see if I can get an even worse lineup than that. He put Melo, Westbrook, and Rondo. They're on the court for 4 minutes, minus 13. It's going to take a look, Skip. I think it's somewhere around the All-Star game. Skip, this thing might go. We might have to go the whole season, and then finally it come together come postseason time. I'm going to say the reason why Russell struggled last night, Skip, is that as a kid growing up in L.A., he's bled purple and gold.
He has.
He's always wanted to play for this team. So opening night in Staples, he's amped because he's a very emotional guy. He's always amped to the highest of amptivity. Now he's on another level. And it showed last night, Skip. He was just, sometimes, a lot of times, he plays like a bull in a china shop.
He does.
He plays right on the cusp of being over the edge. But last night, I thought he went to that place, and he didn't play well at all. Normally, when AD and LeBron score 30, that's enough to win. Skip, we get 67 and 22 rebounds from those guys. That should be enough, considering of the 10 guys that started the game, you got 3 of the best. You got 3 of the top 5 players that's on the court last night.
You do.
And you lose. When Steph didn't play well at all. He said it was trash. It was. 5 of 21. He didn't shoot the ball from 3 well. Free throws, we know he's money at the free throw line. But they won a game in which he played poorly. But the Lakers, it's going to take some time, Skip. Only thing I can say is one game. We got 81 more of these to go. But if you can't beat a Warriors team when Steph is not playing his best with no Clay, no Wiseman, thing might be a foreshadow of things to come. But I'm going to trust LeBron that he'll figure this out. The bench will get their act together. And Vogel will not put no more of these lineups, especially, Skip, maybe there was a time in the 80s, 90s, you could play a lineup with Melo, Rondo, and Westbrook, but not in today's NBA. They don't shoot the ball well enough from the perimeter in order for them to play together. But I thought the bench, the defense, and the free throws were the reason why we lost this ball game.
Okay. Big picture. If I had not watched what happened last night at Staples, and I just glanced at this box score I hold in my hands, I would think, I would think the Lakers won this by 20, which I facetiously predicted they would do on yesterday's show.
Right.
Because at a glance, I see that the only superstar left on the Golden State Warriors, I don't put Draymond in that category. Obviously, Clay not ready to come back off an Achilles tear on top of an ACL. But I look at Steph Curry, and he's 5 of 21 and 2 of 8 from 3. And 21 points is not all that bad, but it's such a horrendous shooting night.
It took 21 shots to get it.
That's what I'm saying. But by his standards, that is, as he called it right after the game, a trash night.
Yes.
And then I look at your big two, your best 2 players on the floor. And I think, wow, LeBron, boy, he had a hot hand. This is about as hot as you'll ever see because he made 5 of 11 threes. And because I did watch the game, I saw him make 4 or 5 fadeaways that were like, spectacular. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so he makes 13 or 23 and winds up with 34 points. And his co-star, AD, goes 15 to 26 and winds up with 33 points. Well, if I see 34 and 33 from your big 2, maybe your biggest 2 in basketball, I'm saying that should do it, right?
Yes.
So 2 superstars star and 1 superstar goes trash. And I'm saying, wait a second. And then I look at the final score, and Golden State wins by 7. How could that be? Well, now we go to your third star, who looked last night like your fourth or fifth star.
Yeah.
Russell, as I call him, and dubbed him a long time ago, Westbrook. Well, he opens up at Staples, first time back in his hometown of L.A., keys to the kingdom handed to him by the king. He's the new point guard. And he opens up 0 for 4 from 3. Well, is anybody surprised by that?
No.
Because he shot 31% last year from 3. And that was actually pretty good because he had 3 straight years before that where he shot sub 30% from 3. He's horrendous. I've dubbed him, proclaimed that he is simply the worst jump shooting superstar we've ever seen in the history of this league.
I can't say I agree with you.
Okay? And yet, he winds up last night, the man who, for the last 5 years, triple-doubled, average triple-doubles for the whole year for 4 of the last 5. He goes triple-single. Triple-single. Wait, no, this is Russell Westbrook. He goes 8, 5, and 4. You have to go back over the last 133 games that he's played. You can only find one of these kind of games, a triple-single. It was weirdly a couple of years back at San Antonio. Maybe it was... might have been last year at San Antonio. I looked it up this morning. But it was just one of those weird anomaly games where he just triple-singled.
Right.
He had a bad shooting night, and they got blown out by 20, and it looked like nobody on Washington was into the game.
Right.
But again, that's 133 games to find one of these. So what did I see from Russ? As the game started, I saw a guy who's been under fire, principally, foremost for me, about you are nothing but a solo act stat machine, and I love to watch you. You're a must-see TV, but you don't fit in what they do.
Yes.
Because the man who has handed you the keys to his kingdom, the king, he wants to segue over to the 2 or the 3, and actually, he's still the best point guard in basketball. He's still the best passer in basketball. He still has the highest IQ in basketball, even in year 19.
But he still was on the ball. Hey, Skip, Bron was still on the ball more than I thought he would
Why
be.
was that? Because Russ says, I got to do this right. So he's under fire. He's on the hot seat, and he's looking around, and he just doesn't look like himself because he is going to defer to a fault, and he is going to sacrifice to a fault. So he's dribbling the ball up the floor in the bad old days, especially going back to the KD OKC days. When he dribbles the ball up the floor, about 2/3 of the time, he's going to take one look at KD, and I'm bulling China shop. I'm going to the basket.
I'm going to the rack.
I am hell-bent. See rim, attack rim.
Yep.
And if the 2 of them meet me at the rim, I'll leave it for Steven Adams to dunk, and I'll get another assist. Did I see much of that at all last night? I'm not sure I saw any of that, Russ, last night, right? And when he did drive it, it was tentative. It was timid. And I never thought I would put those 2 adjectives in the same sentence with Russell Westbrook.
But, Skip, if you watch the way the games, and there are only 2 games on last night, they're not calling that little ticky-tack.
No, they weren't giving it to him, and he was begging, man.
Even in the previous game, Skip, they're not giving you the ticky-tack stuff that you normally get in the last couple of years.
And even LeBron doesn't get it anymore. Nope. They're both like this after driving the ball.
AD.
And there was nothing like where they got blatantly hacked, but they got body fouled or, you know.
And normally in a couple of years past, they would give him that call. But Russ is arguing a call. Skip, you remember he slapped the ball out of Draymond? He hit Draymond's hand. It was a foul. He's arguing and gets a tech. Bruh, you fouled him.
Okay. So what do I see? Now we look at the hidden stats here that don't lie. And I'm looking at LeBron James. Do you realize that 2 years ago for your Lakers, he led the league in assists at 10.2 assists per night. Per game. 10.2. What did he have last night? 5. He had half of what he averaged 2 years ago to lead the league. It's wrong. He's too good. It's what he was born to do, to be the point guard, the quarterback, the initiator, the orchestrator. And too much of the time, he wants to be a three-point shooter. So what did he do last night? Okay, remember, last year he averaged a career high in three-point attempts, 6.3. Well, last night he took 11. It's a lot of threes for LeBron James. And how many times did he drive it all the way to the bucket and to either score it or get to the free throw line? I don't know, 2 or 3 times maybe. I've always told you he's the greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen. But he doesn't do that much, and you can say he's got to preserve his body a little bit in year 19, and I give you that. but he also knows he's not a very good free throw shooter. In fact, he's a poor free throw shooter by superstar standards. So he starts off 3 of 6 last night, and we've got a bet. I don't know what it was. You say it's 72 or 3. 73. I think it was 75. That was your initial offer. Yeah. Well, whatever. But he's off to the races, right?
Well, he'll go 8 for 8 on Friday.
Okay. Yeah, and he also has a 3 for 11 in him somewhere. You know, and I know that's just who he is. So Russ has a horrendous night by Russ standards, and he winds up a minus 23. But the other hidden note here in the box score is that LeBron and AD weren't great last night because they went up minus 2s, right?
Yeah.
Which is not great. So, but their running mate, their third star, was minus 23.
Skip, but when you look at it, you think about this. The Lakers had 2 guys in double figures, and the Warriors had 6 guys in double figures. And that's where they won. You get Bielitsa had 15, Iguodala had 12, Damian Lee had 15.
You're talking about bench players.
Yeah, the
that's
bench players.
Your 55 to 29 bench.
Right, and then you get Wiggins had double figures. Jordan Poole had double figures. The only 2 guys in double figures for the Lakers were AD and LeBron.
Okay, and just for balance on this, remember, last night they're obviously without Ariza, but they didn't have Ellington, they didn't have Nunn, they don't have THT. So there are 4 bench players, which brings us to Carmelo Anthony. We got to see him in purple and gold for the first time, and it was a sight for sore eyes. And yet, you want to talk about a guy who's not bashful. If the ball, if ball touches hands, it's going up.
Yes.
I think one time last night he passed the basketball. The other times he's just going to go. Yeah. And he shot 3 for 9, which wasn't good enough. And by the way, he had one weird glitch at the free throw line.
Yeah, I don't know what was that.
What was that? I think we have it. 1:04 left in the third quarter. Here he is. He's going to shoot a free throw, and he just. I don't know. Did he just gag it? Was he trying to do the okey doke? Was it like a globetrotter? I'm going to deke you?
I don't know what he was thinking.
And he didn't know what he was thinking. He kind of lost focus of what he was doing. I don't know. And then he kind of looked around and laughed and said, well, because that's a violation.
Right.
So it was a bad look for the Lakers because it's like, aren't you guys better than that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. A guy in year 19 that's accomplished as Carmelo shouldn't make a play like that.
So when Ariza does come back and THT does come back and Ellington and Nunn, I'm afraid Melo's going to be fighting for minutes, right? Because he got, I don't know, by his standards, pretty many last night, right? He wound up with 26 minutes, right? Okay, so that's pretty good. Is he going to get that much run going forward?
I don't know, Skip. And the thing defensively, I mean, they would put him in a high pick and roll, and for some reason he slacks off when the pick and roll guy is Steph Curry. You know you got to hug up with that.
Yep.
I mean, it's the defense, Skip, you can't give up 38 points in the fourth quarter. You gave up 68 points in the second half.
Yep.
With a team that doesn't have a big.
Except for Bielitsa.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, on a star-studded night, our man Lil Wayne was there in the front row,
I saw him.
and Jack was back in the front row, and Usher was there, and we can go on and on.
Yeah.
And we got star power all over everywhere on the Lakers, and we got Steph and Draymond, and we can go. We can even do Dwight and Melo.
Right.
Lots of stars on the court.
Right.
Who took the game over?
Bielitsa
took a 33-year-old from Serbia who has bounced around this league, he was Sacramento and then Miami a little bit last year, and now he's with Golden State. I didn't even know he was with Golden State, and there he was in full force, and he goes 15 and 11.
15 and 11.
And who had the most energy in the fourth quarter? Who kept making the hustle plays and the killer plays?
He would get the rebound.
It was Bielitsa.
Because I think I forget who it was, Skip. There was a sequence in which, Avery Bradley had hit a 3, cut it down to like 1 or 2,
and then
Bielitsa comes right back. I was like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah, well, he's got guts, and he's got know-how, and he's got savvy.
And Miami was like, where was that last year when you was with us?
I don't know. I don't know, because I used to see flashes of it in Sacramento for a while, and a little bit in Minnesota, but he's bounced around, and yet the unstar took over this star-studded game.
Right.
Which brings me back to what I call free throws, because the word free should be emphasized. And your team goes 9 of 19. So
that's unacceptable. 10
missed free throws, and you didn't shoot that many.
And think about it, Skip. You got bigs. You got LeBron. You got AD. You got DJ. Now, obviously, DJ only played 13 minutes. You got Dwight Howard, and you got a jump shooting team that shoots 11 more free throws than you shoot.
Okay. And so they make 25 out of 30.
Right. And they make 16 more than you made.
You're plus 16 over the Lakers at Staples? And it wasn't because you're getting calls or bad calls
Right.
or non-calls.
Right.
It
They were just
wasn't
making
that.
them.
You just didn't make your free throws,
It's that
right?
simple, Skip. It's really that
Okay,
simple.
so plus 16 there it's hard to overcome,
Yes.
right? Because it's only a 7-point game.
Right.
So that's a hidden stat. So finally, you step back from this and you say, well, wait a second, you did that and Steph was having a long, hard night.
Right.
Well, I'm going to give Russ a little bit of credit here because for much of the game, they were doubling Steph like
Right.
crazy.
Bazemore did a good job. I have been there for
I
2
thought
years.
Russ did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
He was just bird dogging him, man.
Right.
I mean, he was
Right.
hounding him
Right.
as best he could. He was
Right.
giving it his all on the defensive end. And then it looked to me like the Lakers as a team started to run out of gas in the fourth
Right.
quarter because they couldn't stop Damian Lee from just going to the basket. He just went to the basket
Yep.
at will.
Yep.
Well, he's not exactly a superstar, right?
Yeah, Jordan Poole was killing them
Jordan
too, Skip.
Poole killed him mostly in the third quarter to set up the run. But remember, the Lakers went to the fourth quarter up 2, but
Yeah.
then they just started because you gave up 38 at home in the fourth quarter. That's no good.
To a jump shooting team. Now, if the team got, if you talk about if that's Milwaukee with Giannis and Middleton and those
Yep.
guys, if that's Brooklyn,
Yep.
Skip, you can understand, like, okay, man, they got firepower. But to Steph, minus Clay, minus Wiseman, with no big, and so all their points either came from jump shots or the free throw line.
Yep. No Clay. And remember, there's no Wiseman and no Kuminga, who was
Right.
the 7th overall pick.
Right.
So they didn't have some
Yeah.
of theirs also. So if you step back and look at the big picture, Steph Curry last night looks like he spent a lot of offseason time in the weight room because he is, listen, remember how he used to be skinny little slight Steph
he got-
back in his MVP days? He is really sculpted up. You know, he's buffed up. He's
Right.
beefed up in his upper body.
Well, that might have hurt him because he tried to dunk the ball, and he grabbed her. He got rid of the ball
grabbed
with
it.
one way.
Yeah, he disqualified his own shot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the point was, to my eye, he didn't look as quick as he used to look. He was having trouble separating because
Right.
he used to be able to just step back on anybody. Nobody could stay with him.
Right.
And he was struggling to get open looks.
Right.
So they did a heck of a job on him. But guess what he did to compensate? He got 10 rebounds.
Yes.
Because he is a little stouter and he's less afraid to go in there and mix it up.
Right. This is only his eighth career triple double.
Only his 8th?
So,
wow.
But Skip, look. I thought they did a great job of hounding him, contesting a lot of his shot. Rondo put him on the line for a 3-point shot, a three, which
did.
really made no sense. But
Yep.
give those guys credit. They hounded him, and you says, okay, if someone would have told you, Skip, Steph Curry's gonna go 5 of 21. And they're going to shoot 36% from the three. You
Yep.
shoot better from the field than they shoot. You're like, okay, we're going to win this game. But when you only have 2 guys in double figures, they have 6 guys in double
Yep.
figures, and your bench get outscored by 26, and you're minus 16 at the free throw line, Skip, you're probably going to lose the game. And when you look, Skip, think about it. Golden State out-rebounded them. A big team with AD, Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan, and LeBron James got out-rebounded
Yep.
when the biggest guy, and he only played about 13 minutes, was Kevon Looney.
Yep.
You can't get out-rebounded by the Golden State Warriors under no circumstance.
Okay, so back to my preseason points to you. If you want Russ to be your point, if somebody besides LeBron has to be the point guard because he needs to play more off the ball,
Right.
you should play Rondo more. I'm sorry, but I don't know what you do with Russ because he's going to throw fits if you start reducing his minutes.
Well, how about let him run with the second unit? So you know what?
Is he going to sit still for that?
How about this, Skip? For like the first 6-7 minutes of the first quarter, let him play, and then you let him stay out.
I mean, really, truly, the best way to utilize him would be in the Manu Ginobili role, coming off the bench
yeah, he
with
ain't
the
coming
shot,
off the
but he's not going to
bench.
do
He
it.
ain't coming off the bench.
He's not going
He
to
ain't
do
coming
it. But I promise you,
He's not
it
gonna-
would serve your team best if he ran the shock troops, if he came in and just went bull in China shop with the reserves.
Right, yes.
And they just attacked,
Yeah,
right? It
I-
would change the game.
I would agree with you, Skip, but a lot of times guys not looking what's in the best interest of me. And that's not in the
Okay.
best interest of him. He believes is in the starting lineup. I agree with you. I believe if you let him run with the second unit, it'd be the shot unit, and he's up and down the court. They can get up and down the court because you got younger legs. LeBron comes in, plays at that pace.
I know.
It would be
fun
great.
to watch. And then the other thing, I first guessed this. in your starting lineup last night was a guy who got discarded by the Brooklyn Nets, DeAndre. And he only played, 13 minutes? 13 minutes. And he gave you a quick early basket on a lob dunk from LeBron, right? But other than that, what did he give you? He got discarded. He fell out of the rotation in Brooklyn for a reason, because those guys, Kevin and Kyrie and those guys, love him and James. But the point is, Dwight's so much better right now, and they want Dwight to do what we just said Russ is doing. He comes in with the shock troops to create chaos, right? But last night, he didn't get to play enough, right? Dwight's only in there for a few minutes, right? So, I mean, he and DeAndre played the same amount of minutes.
About the same amount of
that's no good. No good.
But, Skip, I fought Frank Vogel. You and I talked about this. I said, Frank, what are you doing? Why is LeBron sitting out and AD and Russ playing? Why is AD sitting out and Russ and LeBron's playing? Or why are both of those guys sitting out, but one of those guys are playing? That makes no sense. And I disagree with LeBron. LeBron said what we do on the practice court is more important than what we do on the game court. No, it's not. Because you need to see if what you're doing on the practice court is going to carry over to the game court. There's something to be said about, I understand that practice, but you want to see if that comes to fruition on the actual court. And you can see, Skip, there's a reason why when you look at in the Olympics, and you say, man, we got the best players. How are these games even close? Because those guys been playing together damn near all their life.
I agree.
And you just got together 2 weeks ago.
I agree.
That's why.
Agree. Final point. So LeBron and AD after the game went on and on about Russ. We told him, don't be so hard on yourself. LeBron said, go home and put a comedy in, watch a comedy. Don't take it out on yourself. Well, they made it very clear it was his fault. And I've told you from the start that the GOAT, as you call LeBron, needs a scapegoat. And Russ is going to have to realize he is on the hottest seat in L.A. because when he has games like this, Laker Nation is going to say, it's your fault.
Well, it's kind of easy to point at him, Skip, when the other two big guns go get 60, 70, 22 rebounds. But here's the thing.
Bad.
No. LeBron's not going to be able to walk this one off. He can't just take this jacket off and hang it up because they had a deal in place to go get Buddy Hield.
They did.
And he and AD wanted Russ.
1,000% with you. Thank you for saying that. That is correct.
He's going to have to wear this one. This is what you wanted. Rob Pelinka gave you and Russ. They ran this by you. You wanted Russ. You got Russ. And I said it from day one, Skip.
You did.
Buddy Hield is a better fit for LeBron James and Anthony Davis because he can space the floor.
Preach.
So they wanted another superstar because they wanted somebody to help take the scoring load off of those guys. If one of those guys are out, we still got two superstars on the court.
I completely concur.
But that superstar doesn't fit. I get you trying to get Dame Lillard. I get you trying to get Bradley Beal.
Agreed.
But Russ does not fit with you guys.
Got it.
But good luck. It's going to take longer than I thought. I thought we can get to the All-Star game, but we might have to go to March or April for this thing.
You have my condolences.
Seriously?
I don't want it because you don't mean it.
That's saying something. That is saying something.
You don't mean it.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.